Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Ayleen, and this is another daily dose of medicine walk. And for those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, this is Healing House Radio. So, my apologies for not putting out an episode yesterday. It has been a tremendously draining time right now, and there's a lot that's going on with me, and I reached a point of absolute exhaustion. I mean, I couldn't. I couldn't keep my eyes open. I couldn't stay awake. I couldn't. And when you reach that point and when you just hit the wall, the most important thing you can do is take care of yourself. Oh, hello, Luna. Hey, you. And so, yes, she heard me talking. Come on, come on. So anyway, I wasn't able to, and again, I apologize. I want to try to be able to, put out thoughts and put out something each day. And I have, I really want the channel to grow and I want things to move forward. So when I can't, I feel bad. And when I feel that I'm disappointing or not being, everything that I can be for someone, that is rough for me, as it is for most empaths. And so today we're going to talk about that idea of when we disappoint people as empaths. And it can be sort of a double-edged sword, because we have, we make commitments, and it's really good because if nothing else, empaths have a strong feeling of honoring our commitments, because we feel the disappointment of other people. We feel when somebody's let down by something we've done, and because we feel it as they're feeling it, it really hits us hard. So when an empath has to, let go of a commitment, we have a real hard time doing that. And for empaths, it's important for us to be able to develop the ability to let ourselves off the hook, because it's human nature. Eventually, we're not going to be able to do something we said we would do. Eventually, some situation will come up and we can't be there. Now, whether or not it's because we've overpromised or, scheduling messed up, or it could be something completely out of our control. And we still feel that sense of I've let someone down, or I've disappointed someone, or they feel abandoned by me. That's a real tough one, because if somebody is in one of those kind of delicate states, or, or even if they have a tendency to be a little dramatic, and, being said is like, well, you know what, it turns out I won't be able to make it to this, or I won't be able to do this. And even if we give like tons of time or whatever, there's that, oh my God, you've abandoned me. Oh my God, you let me down. And so even if in our conscious minds, we know, okay, this person is kind of, going a little bit further than this needs to go. I mean, this is just like, well, it turns out I can't do this, and here's enough advance notice. And if they kind of go off the rails with it, we sort of go with them, or at least we do if we don't have things in check. So keep in mind that what you feel, the guilt that you feel, is not entirely yours, because it's when we can be able to accept, what, things happen, stuff happens, and we have to move on. Because if somebody breaks a commitment to us, there is that weird kind of thing, because we have a tendency to let other people off the hook more than what we would do for ourselves, more than what we would expect of ourselves. Because also, keep in mind that that person saying, well, it turns out I can't make it, it turns out that I can't do this thing that I said I'd do, well, they feel justified, which means that we feel that they are justified, because we're reflecting what they feel as they feel it. So when dealing with the idea of having somebody disappoint you, we tend to let it go a little bit more easily because well, they did have a good reason. Well, they really did want to help me out, but, they couldn't. So the trick is learning to let ourselves off the hook as quickly as we let others off the hook. So one way that we can do this is if a situation comes up and we know that we're not going to be able to keep a promise that we wanted to keep, and that we just can't, for whatever reason, we cannot deliver on what it was that we agreed to. I encourage you to, before you talk to the person that you need to communicate that to, or that you need to, make that switch with, and take some time for yourself. Take some time to sit down and go, you know what? I need to process. If you have somebody else you can talk to about it, that's great. If not, you can just, talk with yourself about it and really forgive yourself for not being able to do that, and understand you've got a good reason for not being able to do it. And if you don't have a good reason, then, or if you just don't want to, because believe me, that's a good reason. If you just don't want to do something, and because empaths tend to agree to things because someone else wants us to agree to it, we can be very much influenced to make commitments that we don't necessarily want to make, but we make them anyway because it was important to the other person. So if once you get away from that person and their influence goes down and your own personal wishes come up, and you go, I really didn't want to agree to that. I really didn't want to do that. That is something that we have to be very honest about ourselves with. And that it's okay to disappoint people if that's what needs to happen in order for, us to be able to be in integrity with ourselves, because that is a very important thing. We can't be in integrity with anyone else if we're not in integrity with ourselves. So, and we can't be so afraid to let someone down that we go out of our own integrity. So be real honest with yourself. Be able to acknowledge that you're human. And, maybe it was just something that wasn't meant to be. So, do your best to make up for it and to make it right in whatever way you can. But we don't have to feel worse than anybody else. And things always come up. Things happen that we cannot deliver on stuff. You just do the best you can, just like everyone else. And there's no reason for you to feel worse just because someone else projects that on you. Because if you're in your integrity, if you're being, being honest about whatever it is, then you're okay. It's all right. You don't have to feel extra bad. So please, please, please consider that you can be in your own autonomy. You can be in your own integrity, and you can be human. Humanity, being human in some part means letting people down and learning to grow from it, learning to, be able to take it as a lesson. If it's that you overcommitted, you learn how not to overcommit. And it is also especially good for empaths because it teaches us how to not get sucked into empathy and make commitments that we really don't want to make. If somebody wants you to commit to something and, there's that little thing inside you that's kind of, pulling back and forth, maybe say, you know what? Let me get back to you on that. Let me check my schedule. Anything to be able to give yourself some time to actually separate from that moment and go, okay, is this something I really want to do, or am I just being pulled by my empathy to agree because it will make somebody else happy? It takes practice, and it's not an easy thing all the time, and we're gonna, make our choices. It's okay. It's a part of being human. And we can grow from this. We can learn, and it can actually be a great source of learning how to strengthen both our connection with our empathy and our ability to choose with it. So, thank you for joining me. And if you like this video, please press like. And if you would like to support the channel, you can not only like the video, but you can subscribe and comment in the comment sections if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. If you would like to support the channel at a higher level, you can go to my Patreon link, and for as little as $2 a month, you can be able to support the channel and help it to grow. So again, thank you for joining me. And as always, I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you, and see you next time. Bye.